The robustness of tools, you can always tell how good they are if you happen to run them over and they still work. This one was run over by an unloaded trailer first and then by a rigid unit, and it's still hanging on by a thread, but it's working, so I'll give the thumbs up on this one.
Okay, hello, welcome back. This video here is my working toolbox, and it's just a quick tool. You'll have to excuse me for the way the camera is, the camera angles have been shot. It's one of those Friday afternoon, just after finishing a shift, trying to get this done and then get home. Yeah, I do trailers quite exclusively now. I tend to be the company specialist in some areas, and I basically do it because not many people want to do this sort of work. It's boring and it's basic. To me, it's quite liberating. I can just crack on with it and do my job, get home. Yeah, it's still a technical skill. I know some HGV technicians will think it's a bit below them, but it's not. There's a lot of intricacies with this work. I mean, I do other things besides trailers. However, this is my mainstay. So this is my toolbox, and it's just a quick dash around to show you what I have. I'd like to say also that the guys on YouTube that have put their toolbox tools on, thank you very much. It is very much a personal thing for a fitter, mechanic, technician to show his stuff. It's almost like having a look at your underpants drawer. Yeah, it's something very, very personal to the guy who's put his toolbox together, is doing his job. Yeah, so anyway, enjoy, okay?
So let me introduce you to my setup. I have a stacker box system, I have a trailer tester and another workbench. Trailer tester is for testing electrics and for the air systems, and you can see this is just basically simple wiring and plugs and a little bit of power. Okay, that's 1224 ABS and then some air. Okay, the box is just made out of something I found in the workshop that was otherwise going to be discarded, and we also have air valves for checking pneumatics. I think I've shown it before. Now almost completed it. Basically, it's switch the lights on, or I can isolate lights for testing. And with the power at the moment, it's run by 12 and 24 booster pack. Yeah, so you can either do 12 or 24. It's part of my kit, but it can be used by anybody else. So my work box is put in a position, and I take up a lot of space. However, where I am positioned, vehicles have to be reversed into this space. And you can see here, this is the corner, as it's called, and I have to be very careful and make sure that people don't run into it. So I have this luminous conspicuously markers on my box. Okay, you can see them very clearly here, along with a high-vis jacket that's hanging off there. And basically, this is the stuff that you'll see on trailers and rigid units, and not all of it's actually good quality. You can see this lot needs to be replaced. Now you've seen this, you guys who are not in the trade, you'll not forget it, because next time you see a truck or trailer, you'll see the conspicuously markers. This is on vehicles of a certain date, and basically it's luminous stuff which makes sure that people don't run into my box. I'm trying to be an alpha here by having lots of space compared to some people. Yeah, I'll just take it up. So this is my top box and bottom box stacker. In the top here, first of all, I've got an alarm and temperature sensor, and also this times me if I need to time myself on a job to see how long it takes. Yeah, so it's a stop clock. This probe here is very accurate, and it will tell me what the workshop temperature is. Yeah. So magnetic dish on the side. So on the top here, I have all my sockets, 46mm. 3/4, there's 1/4 inch in there, which are just scrappy old sockets, and then these are working tools. You look at some people's toolbox tools, they've got black impact sockets. I'll just take that out of the way, that's not supposed to be there. And any hard working impact socket will look like this, yeah, with rust on it, and the black will be worn off. Okay, so you can see the ones that are used and the ones that are not used. These are very hard working tools. So I've got 3/8 and 1/2 inch. Basically, it's a mixture combinations of 12 point and 6 point stars. These ones are very, very low profile sockets. Absolutely excellent. These ones here, 1/2 inch, it's all snap on. Yeah. Then we have our star sockets for the occasional use. I've probably used them about 3 times. Basically, the trays are lift outable. They're not in any perfect order because sometimes I'll change them about. 3/4 stuff here, which is used, well, you can see which ones are used the most. Some of them have only been used once. And there's my T-piece for PCL couplings, so I can run 2 air lines from one coupling off the wall. Yeah. If you know what this is, then tell me in the comments below. I'm just interested to know if you recognise this tool. This is for commercial vehicles mainly, but you can use it on cars. There's Tom and Dino photobombing. Yeah, they live in the toolboxes next door. Right, so this is my screwdrivers drawer. We have the Torx bit screwdrivers. This is for doing things like door panels and interior cab stuff. This one here is a depth gauge. It is actually a tyre gauge. Tyre depth gauge. I found this somewhere for about £5. And this actually does bolt hole depth, so I can then re-drill them and tap them if I need to. These here is from 6 to 7 and 8 mil, and basically these are Jubilee clip screwdrivers. So then you torque them up to the right torque rather than overdoing them. Some cheapy electrical screwdrivers, which I do use from time to time. Some Teng screwdrivers, and this one here is a tyre valve tightener upper, because we do tend to find that the tyre valves come loose. Okay, Teng tools, not bad screwdrivers actually. I bought 3 of these just to try them out. They're good. Okay, and then there's this little hunky-dory thing, which is a picker-upper, gets you out of trouble. The blue part on it is actually a magnet, and then we have a grabber. You know, this is for when you lose your nuts and bolts in areas that you can't reach. Yeah, so it is that type of affair. Okay, it gets you out of trouble when you need it the most, and we all have butterfingers from time to time. Doesn't fit in the drawer very well anywhere, so that gets bent round like that. And right, okay, I've just got to put that back in the other drawer. This is basically for O-rings to not damage them. This one here, some guys will recognise this that do commercial vehicles in the UK. This is basically a pipe coupling tool to remove the pipes from certain couplings. Yeah, got some picks here, 2 sets of picks, and okay, so that's my screwdriver drawer. Right hand side, sorry, is a set of new snap-on screwdrivers. Okay, so the next drawer down is my up to 19mm spanner drawer. And what you'll see here is a snap-on and a mixture of Mac and a few other poopy spanners. I'm not a big spanner guy. I do like the ratchet spanners, yeah, and the ones that don't look right are the ones that have been changed. These other snap-on ring spanners, combination spanners, good. These are my pride and joys. These are either 5-degree angled, I think they're called aircraft spanners. I don't know, but they're long reach spanners basically. And then you have the 0 degrees head on these ratchet ones, yeah, which are actually blue point. I find that I need these quite often to reach into places where you can't get an air gun onto. However, the 17mm one here is cracked. This is the second time this is broken. The bar is too long for the ratchet mechanism. So I got a full set of those, full set of snap-on ones. Or should I say a full set? It's not quite. I've had these long ones for years. I lost my 13mm one, and I ended up getting a power hand one, which is a 13-15. Yeah, so these are actually really awesome, yeah, for reaching into places you can't get to very often. Also, this thing is called a C spanner, a specialist tool, which I do up couplings, pipe couplings on for the sugar trailers. And then there's just the odd spanners. The small ones are used for nuts on the back of lighting fittings, for instance. And if I happen to be high up, I make sure that I take cheap spanners up there rather than my snap-ons. So a little lower down, I have a couple of adjustable spanners. I don't know what you call them in America. A fair few from 22 to 46 mil, some ratchet spanners, and then the pride of the fleet at the moment is these ultra thin spanners for doing couplings where you can't get a normal spanner in. So they're very thin. It's not a full set. I was actually quite annoyed. I got these at half price. Well, there's only half a set there. So yeah, anyway, they do come in handy. You can see the dirt that we have to deal with all the time. Ring ratchet spanners there. They're a toner from Mac originally, 22 to 24. Okay, two pairs of Stilsons there to get me out of trouble. Yeah, and open end spanners, which are AF. You'll notice that I don't have what you Americans call standard spanners. I'm all metric here. We are all metric. Okay. Next drawer is my silverware. Got extensions, 3/8. This is Land Rover stuff I'm doing bearings with. So I've got 3/8 and 1/4 inch extensions, very expensive. This one's a low profile ratchet 3/8. I'm not very keen on ratchets. I don't use them much. I use air guns, battery guns. This kit comes together for getting into very tight spaces. It's an odds and sods sockets. Come in very, very useful sometimes when there's a tight space. This one here is Halford's 1/4 inch, absolutely excellent. I've had that for years, it hasn't broken on me. And here we have a flexible extension 1/4 inch drive, which my dad gave me. He used to be a fitter years ago. That's very old, use that very occasionally. Okay, so yeah, I have extensions, snap-on extensions, breaker bars, torque wrenches, and yeah, I don't go much on that because I like power behind what I'm turning. Multiple set of bits. This one is my favourite. It's for wing nuts. Yeah, you can zip up wing nuts with that. Yeah, there's always a need for these. On occasion, you'll find that they'll just be an oddball you need to do work with. You can see the casings here, they're pretty good. This kit I've bought quite a few years ago, spline drive, and we have a Torx bits, male and female. This is for posh jobs, and you can see that they're actually very, very clean because I have hardly used them. They stay in the box just in case. I take it home if I've got car work to do. Now, we had a contract which we started, and then the post office pulled out. I bought lambda sensor removal tools because we were expected to do lots of DPFs and such like, and never used it. Annoying. I've got a few boxes of tools like that. I'll just keep it in the toolbox just in case I have to do a knock sensor for somebody. You know, like these apprentices, they get to struggle sometimes. So, you know, that's there just in case. Okay, so that's that drawer. Done and dusted. As you can see, it's at a good level to see the tools that I've got in there. This is my power tools drawer, and some of these are overworked actually. I've got pickle forks, there's a hacksaw and die grinder, a cutter, another hacksaw. I bought that off a car boot sale actually, 15 quid, works well. This one's for knocking ball joints out of the threads on the bars. The hammers I use quite extensively, and I tend to wreck these tools very, very quickly. Okay, so with a pickle fork, you can either use it with a hammer or fit it into an air hammer, and yeah, they work. This one's a nibbler for cutting tin plate or aluminium sheet. It's good. Air gun, blower. I'll use that for pumping up airbags. Then, of course, there's my Y-piece or the PCL coupling adapter. Yeah, drills. Here's my 3/4. There's my 1/2 inch battery gun with 2 batteries. There's a little mighty midget here, Mac Tools one. This is actually really good. I use this when I need to put some power behind removing awkward nuts. Then, of course, I have my 3/8 battery gun. Oh, these are worked very well. You can see how they're worked because they're dirty. If they're shiny clean, then you know they're not being used hardly at all. However much you clean something, it will look like it's worn. Okay, so here's the odds and sods drawer. Got a micrometer there, and then there's tire chalk for writing messages, then tire depth, and then this thing here is for reconditioning tire valves when you have a leak or something. Yeah, don't know if you can see that. I'll just try and get that into focus. Okay, that's a multi-tool for tire valves. Then of course I have some extra welding tips, vernier for measuring, and then I have the star T-bar. Well, it's not a T-bar, sorry, it's an Allen key bar. Okay, these ones are for getting in awkward and angled spaces. That one's for straights, Allen keys. Basically, yeah, just hand tools, keys, adapter for testing brake chambers. Well, I'm going a little bit quick here, but basically this is an odds and sods draw measuring and such like. This here is for removing trim panels and Christmas tree fittings. Yeah. So also have inspection mirrors, magnetic reach tool as well, just in case. And then in the next drawer down, this is my this thing's homeless. I can't seem to fit it anywhere because the nozzle's too long. Okay, so mole grips, got to have those. Water pump pliers, MIG tool, and then this cutter here is for cutting pipes with. Electrical crimping tool. Now this one is an old one. Okay, hang on, I'll just show you this. This one here, I can't find the fittings to crimp. I'm just keeping that. I actually found that in a shed somewhere. Then, of course, I've got my circlip pliers. Now, the two big ones, circuit pliers, I use quite a lot. And this tool here is for doing CV boot, Jubilee clip type things. And I'll show you this. The clips we use for camshafts to hold the boots on, to keep the grease in, okay. This tool crimps this up, okay. You've seen these on CV boots on cars. It's the same tool. A very hard work tool. And that's earning its living quite extensively. So I've got my side cutters here. I replace them every year. A pair of scissors. Now, with regards to circlips, I don't know if you guys know, okay, the way you fit them. I've got two of these. One's bent and one's straight. Old set and then the fine set here. These are actually tapered, and I'm going to show you, basically, there is only one way that you put these on. The other way is incorrect. Okay, so the holes are wider apart is the place where you put your circlip pliers into. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the difference between the distance of the holes, because these are angled. Yeah, you see when you put them together like that, they're angled. They fit into the circlip one way. Yeah. So the grip is basically a cone widest part outwards. Yeah. Okay. So it might be something you've learned today. So my electrical box is in transition at the moment because I'm between about 4 toolboxes. Yeah, so this is my electrical drawer, and it's only the hand tools. The multimeter is actually missing. This is for cleaning couplings up. This one is a cut for cables. It takes the sheath off, you turn it and then split it. Yeah, mainly for 7-core, not for ADR stuff. This one's for unpicking black tape, because these buggers that keep putting black tape on, it's a bitch to remove. So this is a quick unpick, which seamstresses use. It works really well. So yeah, tiniest little pair of side cutters, absolutely brilliant for cutting wires. ABS adapter, okay. This is very, very vital sometimes. Battery cleaning terminal tool, and then I've also got non-insulated crimpers, and then insulated crimpers. They work like hell. We use a lot of insulated crimpers. I've had that tool about 20 years, hasn't broken down. Amalgam tape, not black tape. If I use black tape, it's only for binding things up. Cables for testing. This kit I've shown before in videos. Okay, there's odds and sods in here, and then there's the mole pole for pushing wiring looms back through channeling. Yeah, and that's also been shown on my channel. Okay, empty drawer that usually has my diagnostic kit in it. I've hidden my hammer away at the moment. And then there's the odds and sods drawer, which has some real naff stuff in it. Yeah. Okay, so there's a riveter I hide away from the workshop. Brake flaring tool, which nobody is going to touch. And then there's things like filter wrenches. This one's for a Ford Transit type filter. Okay, you need the specialist tool. again, oil wrenches, spare straps, stuff like that. This one is for removing wheel nut covers from trucks. Okay, when we do MOTs, we've got to remove the wheel nut covers, so that one's a labour-saving device. More filter wrenches, brake tool, and then there's some chisels for tool boards. And this box here has got a compression tester adapter in it and some glow plugs. Okay, so that one's a poopy tool, which I'm not going to show you. I've also got reducers there for air. So the last two drawers, they are evolving. I basically keep an oscilloscope and a diagnostic tool there. But I don't leave them at work at the weekend. I take them home quite a lot. A, because I don't want the equipment to get damp. And B, if I lose them and the toolbox gets stolen, then that's a lot of money lost. So what I'm going to do is show you them from the last video I did, for the guys who haven't seen this so far, so you can see what else I've got, okay? A bit lower down, diagnostic equipment, yeah, and then I've got my power probe there. You see, I've actually got to lean in to get this. I don't use it that often, and I don't use this one that often either. This one I do, yeah. So further down is the oscilloscope. So I'll just bring the camera down. Further down is the oscilloscope with the breakout box, yeah. And unfortunately, yeah, oh my poor old back. Well, not really. I'm actually quite fit, so I can lean down, take it out and use it. I'm not happy about it in this position, but never mind. Oh, actually what I will do is I'll show you, I don't know if you know, I'll show you what I've got in here, okay? So we'll bring the camera a bit further up here, and right, then I'll show you the oscilloscope kit that I've got. I've also basically got the leads, I've got myself an amp clamp in here, and I've also got some relay testers, yeah. Basically what you do is you plug, you've either got a changeover or you've got your basic relay, okay, on-off relay. These tabs correspond with the pins, so what you do is you plug them in, or plug one in, and then you put the relay on top of this so you can then monitor to see what it's doing, yeah. And yeah, it's quite a good bit of kit that. They're expensive. Plenty of pins and clips, and I've also got T-pins, yeah. What you'll probably notice now, especially you truck guys, is that these diagnostic plugs are pants. They tend to not last very long. You plug in a reader, sorry, a Davy or whatever, and the pins ain't working properly because it's been screwed up. These are just badly made, so you always have a kit, always have a spare or two, yeah. Basically, yeah, that's that kit. All right, these back probing pins always handy, and I got myself some extras. So I try to keep as orderly as possible in this with my oscilloscope, yeah. And also got another, hang on, I'll just show you, yeah, out of shot there, I'll bring it back in, another ABS test lead for my trailer stuff, because I tend to do a hell of a lot of ABS work. Yeah, so, okay. Right, so that's that. Okay, so my Mac toolbox, along with my workspace, it does get cluttered. This is just during the day. Mac box opens like such, and on the end there you can see bars, lever bars and heel bars, or lady shoe bars, I don't know. The top here is in transition. I'm doing a lot of ABS work, so I've got things like a power probe. This one's a trailer socket tester, which is for 12 volt vehicles. Just plug it in and it'll tell you if your lights are working or not. ABS equipment, and then this one's the last job I did. I've got to chuck that away yet. Things like pry bars in the end here, and I think you Americans call this a lady shoe bar, or we call it a heel bar. Yeah, well used, of course. And then on the other side I also have some more pry bars. Okay. In the top drawer here, this is starting on my engineering stuff, hacksaw, the scrapers and pin punches, files, and you can see here I've got some blades. Okay, and then some screwdrivers, which always come in use after they're broken. Punches and chisels here, well used. And these drawers actually do get stuck if you don't push them in. And they also get locked because this is very hair trigger sensitive, this lock here, which is good. You slam the drawer and it locks, yeah. So anyway, second drawer down, more engineering stuff, which is drills, taps, tank cutters, okay, and yeah, basically drills and more drills, wire brushes and disc sanders, okay. So you can see the tank cutters here. This one here, there's some fluted easy outs, engineering chalk, okay, I keep that well hidden. That one's a tapered hole cutter, and then I have bigger drills. I'll just get that out of the way. Always need chucks, drills, easy outs, yeah, stapler just in case, all right. And then I have more taps here. I like to keep the 3 set, which is you got your blind hole to your first taps, yeah. And then I've got up to 20 mil. 20 millimeter, 20 by 1.25 is for valve ports on a lot of our air fittings. Yeah, so if I have somebody or something which goes wrong, it's cross-threaded, then I can use this tap in a valve to make sure I have my 22 mil fitting to go back into it. And I like to keep these in cases to make sure that they don't get damaged, yeah. And it's very, very hard to put this back in the case one-handed while you're holding a camera, yeah. Anyway, this is the sort of thing that keeps me going. I just buy taps as and when I need them. Okay, so I've got 10 mil down to 8 mil. Actually, I've got 6 mil somewhere. This is for the DAF front hub cap. Okay, because they like to break the bolts, and then the drivers for the taps. Plenty of drills, including the occasional masonry one. Left-handed drill bits, which Neil Enzer gave me. Thank you, Neil. And then there's the Irwin tools, which are the get you out of the crap quickly. These will grip onto rounded bolts. I've got to say, these Irwin ones, they have never, ever failed. And I have given these a lot of grief. You can see by the dirty box that's used quite a lot. This is a dirty job. A set of drill bits here for gauges, and then more drill bits which I can grab and go when I need to, and always have a spare set because they can break. Just to make sure people understand that these tools are mine, I do have them marked up, yeah. There are some light-handed people or light-fingered people. Sometimes people will work through this workshop and help themselves to toolboxes, stuff in toolboxes. That's Tom again, photobombing. And right, okay, this is the exciting bit, is the hammers. I like hammers. I like all sorts of hammers, soft and hard hammers. As you can see here, I've got a good collection of soft hammers. Also got down in the corner there number punches. Now we make up plates for trailer IDs and then rivet them on. So yeah, the number punches there in English, the alphabet and numerical. Yeah, so basically I've got a full set of soft hammers. Yeah, this one's a curbstone hammer, which is good for knocking stuff and not to damage. This one here is the well-used copper and hide hammer. Yeah, and then a selection of ball peen hammers and the such like, yeah, so you can see where I'm at. I've even got a wood saw for floorboards or the occasional trailer floorboard that needs cutting. Okay, that's it. That's a little tour of the ever-changing toolbox situation. As you can see, I like to alpha male my space and get lots of space, workshop space for myself. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that.